Good morning, folks. You're tuned into Car Connection, where the coffee's strong, the stories are real, and the wrenches never stop turning. I'm your host, Niall Motormouth Jenkins, coming to you from the Car Connection workshop, where the smell of fresh oil, a little elbow grease is all part of a balanced breakfast. Around here, we don't just talk cars, we live them. Whether it's a 25-year-old Jeep Wrangler getting a second chance at life, or Nissan Rogue getting its brakes back in order, or a mystery leak that's got everyone scratching their heads. This is where we roll up our sleeves and get it done with a little wit, a little wisdom, and a whole lot of fun. The Car Connection isn't just about nuts, bolts, and diagnostics. It's about connection. Connection to our vehicles, to the people who drive them, and to the community that keeps Niagara rolling. Because when you fix a car, you're not just turning a wrench. You're restoring someone's confidence, freedom, and maybe even their sanity. We're here every week, Monday through Saturday, with the Motormouth Morning Drive, helping you keep your ride safe, reliable, and ready for whatever road lies ahead. So whether you're a weekend wrencher, a daily commuter, or someone who just wants to understand what that strange rattle really means. So welcome aboard, stick around for some shop talk, expert advice, few good laughs, and maybe a story or two. Because I do have flashbacks. That's true. Am I on my own on that one? Well, thank you for welcoming me into your vehicle or wherever it is that you're sitting and enjoying this morning's podcast, the Motormouth Morning Drive. And you may be heading through the drive-thru, grabbing your favorite morning beverage, recheck your order, check it and recheck it. What is it? Measure once, cut 3 times, something like that. So check it once, report back 3 times, lock that down in your cup holder, and keep an eye on the other guy. One eye on the road, one eye on your co-pilot if you have one. Pass them over the 16-pack of Crayola crayons and the folded-up leaf bag, so that they can take some notes for you. Just tell them it's a high-tech new laptop. Yeah, it's touch and go. It requires crayons to work properly. All right, let's have a swiggy together this morning. Are you ready? If you're just joining us for the first time, we are located on the south shore of Fort Erie, and we'll have the daily weather report for you coming up next. And thank you to Total Freedom Addiction Campuses Canada and USA for providing a safe place for those that are going through addictions and ready to deal with it, because there's a new life waiting for them there at the Total Freedom Campuses Canada and USA. All right, we count it down on 3, 2, 1, and we have a swiggy together. So whatever your morning beverage is, we don't need to know. That's your special deal. We go for the high octane here in the Car Connection workshop. We do not believe in turkey bacon and decaffeinated coffee. We can't. We've been all over it. We can't figure it out. So 3, 2, 1. It's even hot this morning. How did that happen? I forgot it. Can you believe that? Have you ever poured yourself a morning beverage and kind of cruised on doing your whatever your ditties are in the to get out the door, and you go, where's my cup of Joe? And then you got to go find it. Yeah, that was me today. I set it down. It was right where I poured it. I'm looking all over. I'm going, maybe I put it on the workbench because I was out in the shop this morning. Nope. Okay. I went to check on the plants, my shamrocks, because I'm trying to make them blossom for the upcoming, you guessed it, on the 17th, next month. Yeah. I'm working towards that with my shamrocks. So, hopefully, but my coffee cup was not there. I found it right where I poured it and left it. So anyhow, let's move along this morning. Our morning weather brought to us by Total Freedom Addiction Campuses, Canada and USA. What do we got going on this morning? Well, I had a little peekaboo. I gotta admit, I stuck my head out along with the Workshop Willie, our very own groundhog. He's still hanging around. I think he likes donuts. I think that's the problem here. 20 degrees right now, and I only talk in Fahrenheit, just so you know. No Celsius here. Fahrenheit. 20 degrees Fahrenheit right now and cloudy. I don't know how they know that, but anyways, wind is making it feel colder. About 13 degrees. Snowy conditions expected around 6 a.m. Snowing. It's been snowing since 4:30. Hello. Today's temperature range was from 17 degrees to 26 degrees. Well, that's today. Yeah, today is just happening. It's going to feel like 10 to 22 degrees. 10 degrees, 22 degrees. The high temperature today is lower than yesterday. Egads, man. Our high will be 26. Yesterday, our high was 33. And the day before, we had almost 45 Fahrenheit. Yeah, a couple of days ago. A lot of snow dropped, but it's returning. Yeah, it sure is. Overnight low is going to be 17. So be careful out there. We still have winter in most cases. I don't know where you're listening in from, but if it's warm where you are, please send us an invitation to stay for the next 30 to 60 days. That would be nice, wouldn't it? This morning's topic, are you ready for it? This is a prerequisite because I have been working on a video we're going to put up on our YouTube channel with regards to the importance of treating your vehicle as a fleet vehicle will put a lot of money back in your pocket. And I'm breaking it down for you. I've got everything. I don't normally, after 31 years of radio, there's no do-overs. You know, when the microphone comes on, you're on for 59 minutes and 30 seconds. And so you don't get to go, can I shoot that again? Can we cut that out? Can we edit that? No, it's live radio, live call-in. But on the digitals here, on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and all podcast platforms. So wherever you grab your podcast, type in Car Connection Workshop. You'll find us there. We'll be there for you. I don't normally write a program. I have outlines, and I just follow the outlines. And I've been in the trade for 44 years plus, and still going to it. And in fact, I think I shocked my friend yesterday when I told him how old I was. He goes, I said, I just turned blah, blah, blah. He goes, what? What did you just say? I just went out the door. I dropped off some cake. I cooked him a carrot cake, took it over to the farm. Because they help us out over there if we need some sandblasting or, hey, Charlie, you got some metal? I need a piece of metal. You got something like this? Yeah, I just might have. Something you can carve out. So they help us over there and help us with firewood. So every hand washes one another. So to get back on track before I rabbit hole too far, I put together an entire program breaking down fleet service maintenance. Because if you want to keep your car long term and stop listening to the white noise and the talking heads that say you got to get rid of these things every 3 to 5 years, you're out of your freaking mind, buddy, whoever that is. No, you don't. My last vehicle, I had 15 years, sold it, and it's changed hands again, and it's still going. Hello. So who are we listening to? I'll tell you right now, fleet companies aren't listening to that fella that says you got to get rid of them every couple of years. No, they're going to run it until it starts costing too much in repairs. And that's when they start saying, it is getting older, but it is running well. We go in for one more service and one more round, and then they go off to the auction. That's what happens because I worked for a company that they used to look for those vehicles turned in by certain companies because they knew that the fleet maintenance on them was amazing. They were well kept, well looked after. So I've written a program on vehicle fleet maintenance to break it down for you in layman's terms, in simple to understand language. Keep it super simple. KISS. And that's the first time I've probably written out a program like that ever in 31 plus years on radio. And we're only a few months in on our podcast. So I put it all together so that I don't forget what I really want to say to help you to understand treating your vehicle like it's a fleet vehicle and changing your mindset and curving your head around that idea that it's no longer something that has to be thrown out like an old pen or a Bic lighter when it's empty. Found one yesterday. I was shrink wrapping, and I like the Bic lighters. I have for, I don't know, it's my thing. It has to be a Bic lighter in my electrical box for shrink wrapping, shrink tubing on electrical connections. So I had to make a shunt to take care of my neutral safety switch problem on the 97 Jeep TJ. So I've made a shunt for now, and I probably will order a neutral safety switch at some point and change it up. But it's a wicked little beast to put in. But anyhows, Bic lighters are my thing. That's the only brand I like to use because I've used them for 40-something years. Anyhow, so I have written a program on fleet maintenance. I've broken it down into segments, and we're going to shoot a video on that so that you can see me as I'm talking to you and breaking this down for you and helping you to understand changing your mindset on your automobile and looking at it as, number one, a tool. Number two, I need to get as much life out of this vehicle as I possibly can to avoid paying interest and monthly payments on the Never Never plan and put a whole lot of money back in your wallet. And if that's of interest to you, keeping your vehicle as long as you want, and it'll run reliable and healthy, and you can keep the repair bills under control so you don't get the vehicle goes in once every gajillion, bazillion years, and then the bill's like $4,800 and you're having a wig out because why? You got to spend money on all those miles you never paid anything to drive. That's the bad mindset. That one will keep you in the hole because there's no free driving. In all the years that I did fleet maintenance, there's no free driving. But you got to make sure that that fleet vehicle does not go down and lose the company money for downtime. Because today, downtime is well over $1,000 a day. It's probably closer to $2,000. Back then, it was about $900 a day. Vehicles down, that's the loss. So how many days would you like to be down at $900? So now fast forward to today, it's probably closer to like $2,500 downtime per day. I'll see if I can do some research on that and find out. I bet you I can. A couple of phone calls on fleet maintenance dudes I know will tell me what is it actually today for one vehicle in the fleet down for the day or 2 days. What does it cost per day? So if you take the mindset of drive, oh crap, the service light's on, it's running like dog poopy on my shoe, I got to take the car in. Honey, I got to take the car in. Well, what's that going to cost? Oh, I don't know. So how many months went by before you spent a dime on that vehicle? That's always the question I asked in our own shop. When was the last time you spent money on this car? And usually him and her look at each other and go, eyes back and forth. I don't know. And I take that as a no. Because if it's not a yes, we spent money on it, any other answer, as my professor would say, is a no. They're just not wanting to hear themselves say no. Yeah. And that's why we are where we are on the planet that we're on. Because as the people, we haven't learned to say no. Remember that little dog in cartoons? No, no, no. Okay, that's enough of that. Yeah, remember that little dog? Yeah, I thought that was cool. He was onto something back then. So I've written the program as such so that as you see me explaining you, Lucy, I will explain you something, Lucy. All the details about fleet maintenance and adopting that into your daily driver is going to be so cool because you know why? You'll be just like me, keeping vehicles 15, 19 years, and they still look great, they drive great, and they still have value. Because, my 07 FJ, people are wanting to buy it all the time. And I was just looking online, people are offering $50,000. Well, that's what the lady that I bought it from paid, $48,000 and change, right from a Toyota dealer, one owner. And that was a good score, and it wasn't abused. So they're going to bring back the FJ, and I've already looked at it. It doesn't look, I don't think it looks nice. They kind of changed it. Toyota's figured out that they shouldn't have dropped their FJ Cruiser line back in 2014, but they've still been available in Saudi Arabia, apparently. Go figure. Does it snow in Saudi Arabia? Come on. Anyways, I guess sand is the next best thing at 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Anyhow, you can keep a vehicle as long as you want. And like myself, my FJ Cruiser will be part of the 400,000 kilometer club this year. So 300,000, doable. 400,000, very doable. 600,000 K miles, very doable. So the talking heads, I will eat their lunch and take their milk money any time of the day to listen to them on what their theory is that you need to get rid of a vehicle every 3 to 5 years. They prefer 3, that you go and sign on the dotted line and stay in hack for a stupid car. Yeah, cars are stupid. We've determined that. Yeah, we're smart. SMRT. Cars are stupid. But you know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is don't fall for the lies. We got enough lying going on. I'll tell you what, they all should count their blessings that Pinocchio was just a story. Amen on that one? Can you imagine? Hey, what happened? Why is your nose like 3 feet long? I don't know. What? It goes out even longer because they just lied. They know. So don't fall into the automotive lies. That's what I'm going to break down for you on our YouTube video entitled Fleet Service Maintenance. It's a mindset, and it absolutely is. If you adapt my fleet service maintenance program into your daily driver, you will see how much money comes back into your wallet, not only in the course of a year, but in a course of all the kilometers that you can pack on that vehicle. Follow the fleet maintenance chart that I created many years ago, and I've refined it for just about any automobile. And you can track yourself, track your maintenance. It's a no-brainer, folks. It's a no-brainer. I was just out at the farm yesterday. One of the farms, my friend Charlie, has several farms, and he is a, what would you call him? Farm equipment technician. He's a factory-trained technician. And he keeps his equipment pristine, I'm telling you. He was working on one of his combines yesterday, and it's absolutely beautiful. Everywhere. Open the sides, all the mechanicals and everything. They're spotless. And I said to him, Charlie, is that one almost done? He goes, yeah, I gotta detail it and wax it and get it ready. I said, is the first one done? Yeah, that's done. I said, what year is this combine? Oh, that's a 2010. Did you hear what I just said? A 2010. How old is that? At 16 years old. And I think we'll have to ask permission if we can, before spring comes and Charlie gets busy, just to go out with Skippy and video his equipment. Because it'll blow your stinking mind to see what effort and how much money is saved. So if you look up today, here's your homework. Look up the cost of a John Deere combine today. Just look at it. And Charlie has 2 of these behemoths. They're massive. Like you can drive a Hyundai Accent right into it and close it up and it's gone. It's like burp, finished. A 2010. It looks like all his equipment looks like brand spanking new. He gets it in out of the weather, into buildings, and he goes over each piece of equipment through the winter. And when they're finished with them in the fields, even in the summer, they get cleaned down and they get put away. Did that just happen by itself? That's a perfect example. My friend Charlie is a perfect example of the money you can save when you practice fleet service maintenance on your daily vehicle and look at it as part of a fleet, whether you have 1 vehicle in the driveway or 7. 7 drivers, 7 vehicles living under the same roof. That's bizarre. But it does. It's reality out there. You know, the kids are going to stay at home because they can't buy their own place. Don't get me started on that one. So they got to live with the parents a lot longer and try and get up on their feet. So anyways, everyone's living under one house. It's actually a smart idea. It really is. The Europeans got us on that one. Big time. Buy a house all together. You have your own space. Everybody's got some skin in the game. You pay that sucker off. So now there's no interest, no payments, just property tax and expenses. And everybody puts in a little, and you got your own space. Smart. Too bad we can't do that with cars, because you do have those people that, here, can I borrow your car? And it comes back, and it's got a big scratch and a bang in it. Yeah, I had some difficulty on the road today. Sorry about that. Yeah, I had that happen. I lent the vehicle in the shop. I get a phone call. I lent it out. It was just a little Buick Century I put together. And my fella, he drove it when his car was down. I took it home to work to the shop. Never had a problem. We did the maintenance on it. I lent it out to a fella. He calls me, the driver's door fell off. How does that happen? So I had to go out there, see what the stink was going on. The driver's door fell off. And I'm like, well, how did it fall off? Well, there was a much longer story about that, how the door fell off, just fell off. We fixed it. But getting back to, I want it to be a little light discussion, but at the same time, if money is tighter than a duck's butt, that's watertight. In your household, would it be wise to take action instead of just thinking, there's wishes, there's wants, and there's needs, and there's got. Those are the departments. If it be kindly, as my professor would say, when it goes from a need to an absolutely gotta have it, a got, now you'll take action because you're backed into a corner. Now you'll take action. But this is what I'm trying to get you to understand with fleet maintenance. These trucking companies know how to make money. Wouldn't you say? They get the products to and from all the time. It doesn't happen by itself. There's schedules for everything. And vehicle service is one of those number one things, the gotta have thing in order for all of that to happen. For the driver to pick up the rig, head to so-and-so with trailer number blah, 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 get there, You're going to leave that trailer. You're going to pick up trailer, blah, blah, blah. And that has got to go 1,600 miles that way. And it has to be there by this time. Kind of like Smokey and the Bandit, right? Long way to go, short time to get there. Yeah. And that all makes sense to me when I was working on fleets for decades, that our job was to make sure that we covered every aspect of that vehicle that came into our service bay to make sure we don't miss anything, so that that vehicle does not go back and have downtime. Because when that happens, it's coming right back to the shop. And next time the tender's up to bid on doing service, you might not get it. It all depends. Companies would change fleet managers, and all of a sudden you're dealing with a nice guy. Now you're dealing with a wiener. Yeah, a weenie. Difficult to get along with. There's only 9 of them in the world, but the real problem is they drift around a lot. Difficult people. So, I don't want to harp on too long, but I will tell you that that video is coming up on our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, liked, subscribed, shared, and done all that stuff to help our channel grow so that we can have the resources to fix vehicles for single moms, widows, orphans, families that are struggling for free. That's where we want to get to. And it could be someone you know, it could be you, it could be someone else that we're able to do that for the price of shooting the video. Let us show people what happened, why it happened, and how we're going to fix it. And that's what our YouTube channel is all about. 5 things on every video. What it is, where it is, how it works, how it breaks, and what could you have learned as basic fundamentals of vehicle ownership, and getting some more understanding of how your automobile works will save you a ton of money. A ton of money. Instead of relying on someone else to think for you. And that's what's happened to Canada. That's what I see. The biggest thing is people don't want to do something. They don't want to do their own homework. They wait for somebody to do it for you. Well, I'll tell you what, if you want something done around the workshop, you better do it yourself. Otherwise, you know what? You're not going to be in a car. It's going to be parked. So you got to do something. You know, if you don't like the way you look, the way you feel, how's that going to change? Somebody else can't do that for you. You got to come up with a game plan, and then you got to be in love with that plan, because in order to have a victory, there has to be a battle. And owning and operating an automobile is just like that. In order to have a victory and stuff a lot of cash back in your wallet, but still have a reliable vehicle that you can count on, there's got to be a battle. And what is that? Taking care of it. That's all we're talking about. If you go into our YouTube channel, and remember, if you're just joining us, the biggest drawer in our toolbox is our website, and it has been for decades. The home page is where it all happens at carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. That's where our program partners are. Click on their logo, open their profile page, and connect with them. And thank you for doing that. Give them your business. They're great people. Trust me, they're great people. On the top right-hand corner of our homepage are all the platforms that Car Connection is involved in. So you'll find everything you need there if you'd like to follow us. So it's click and go. That simple. Click on the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Stevensvilleontheweb.ca. Click on the business tab. You can send me an email through there. You can send me an email through our website form at carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. And on Stevensville, you'd say, well, what's that all about? Well, my parents have lived there for decades, and I know a lot of business owners in Stevensville. It's not very far from where we are right now. And there's some fabulous family-owned and operated businesses and business owners that provide great products, goods, and services. So my videographer, Skippy, put that website together, and it has I think 7,000 people on there following it. She wanted to connect, because she lives in that area in Stevensville and grew up there. So she wanted to connect community with the businesses. So she created Stevensvilleontheweb.ca. I think it's fabulous. So they put us a profile page there, so you can find us there. The link is there for iHeartRadio. Click on there. We will have over 100 episodes for you to tap into if you're just finding out about Car Connection Workshop today. Just in about a week and a half, we'll celebrate going into a new season. We'll be heading into season 2 and a whole plethora of brand new episodes. But the 100 episodes are there for you. If you just go through and listen to all those and watch the videos, where I was going on the videos on our YouTube channel, you can watch me bringing a vehicle back to life that was scheduled to get crushed in the wrecking yard, and it's here in the shop, and it's drivable now. Yep, it's drivable now. What put that vehicle in the wrecking yard? I will give you one clue. Negligence. Period. Negligence. Not bothering to do a stinking thing on that vehicle till it was car no-go. The cooling system went down, and it was down for a while, but they kept going till they blew the engine to pieces. That's what put it there. That was the death blow. But everything in every video you see me working on something there, the whole aspect behind the video is, number one, what am I fixing? What am I servicing on that vehicle to bring it back to roadworthy condition? And at the end of this whole thing, in fact, I was telling Charlie yesterday, the farm, he goes, you spent a lot of money on that. I go, you know what? That's what I want everybody to think, because that's the way the world thinks. You see, that's not your thinking. That's somebody else's seed planted in your head. And I said, at the end of it all, Charlie, here's where Motor Mouth is going to have the last laugh, because all of you are thinking, this is costing thousands to put this thing back on the road. I'm going to allow every single one of you to put your suggestion in, what you think when this Jeep, little 25-year-old Jeep is done, and now it's drivable. And it wasn't. It's drivable. Yep, it shifts. It has brakes all the way around. I'm just working a couple of bugs out, a couple of things that weren't working that bother me not working. I have to chase it till it does work. Because in my mind's eye, just like fleet service, everything has to work. Everything. Nothing goes on the list of, we'll get back to that later. Because you know that never happens. It never happens. So Charlie's smiling as I'm sitting in and having a chin wag yesterday. Brought him some snacks. Yeah. Word got back to me. He didn't have any snacks in the farm shop. I'm like, well, we can't have that, can we? So we had to take care of that with some carrot cake with cream cheese icing. Yeah, that pretty much got him down from the combine. What do you got there? I go, oh, where are you? Couldn't even see him. He goes, oh, the word got to you, did it? And I go, yeah, I'll just put it in the fridge. I know where it goes. What do you got? I go, carrot cake with cream cheese icing. I'll be right down. Yeah, so that's working together. And I look at my friend Charlie and his equipment and how old it is and how well maintained it is. Even other farmers, they look at it and just, they can't believe it. Because their stuff, they leave it where they're finished with it. It stays outside. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment just in the weather right now. Where they finish with it, that's where they leave it. And then they wonder why it's broken, and they got to spend a ton of time and a ton of effort to get it ready to go back in the field. So, anyhow, where was I going? Skidded off the runway here. So, the fleet maintenance is the secret, folks, to keeping your vehicle long term. So anyway, at the end of the day, This little tiny red Jeep TJ Wrangler 1997. I didn't know diddly squat about Jeeps until now. And now I know how they're put together. And they're quite Neanderthal. That's all I'm going to say. I'm saying it politely. But it's a Jeep thing to the Jeep people out there, and I don't want to disrespect them. I totally understand. It's communal. It is. They know, Jeep people know that Jeeps they need maintenance all the time. They do. And they're not the greatest vehicle put together. Like, it's not a European sports car or anything. It is a workhorse. That's what it is. And this little red Jeep was just neglected to the point where there was nothing left. It wouldn't even run anymore. That's how it got there. They blew the motor up. It's over. So everything I fixed, serviced, cleaned, maintained, replaced has been done with some used parts, actually quite a few harvested parts that were in great shape, serviced and put in back into place, back into service. Some stuff was like, not going to work. We gotta spend on here. But at the end of the day, I will reveal in the last video of that 97 TJ Wrangler the cost to bring that vehicle back to 100% reliability. Turn the key and go. But that doesn't mean now you drive it until you can't. No, that's not what that means. It means you continue the pattern of maintenance and treat it like it's a fleet vehicle. And it is. It's going to be part of our fleet that takes care of the bringing in of firewood every year because we heat with wood. And Charlie has lots of wood, and I help him by, clearing out the bush of the dead trees and making room for the forest area on his farms to continue to grow. And so we harvest wood. And I don't want to use my good vehicle, the FJ, for that anymore because, getting into mud and then you got to power wash it off. That's what the Jeep is for. It's got the right gear ratio. It's 5 gear. It's a 4-banger. It won't be too bad on fuel, and it's going to pull the wood trailer. It's going to take it to the wood lot, load it up, bring it home, go back to the same thing. That's what its purpose is. It's going to be part of a working tool in our fleet. And even Charlie said that to me yesterday. You're going to use that to haul the wood trailer? And go, yeah, that's what it's been born for. That's what I'm saving it for. I don't want to wreck the FJ Cruiser. I want it to go to 600,000 kilometers, and I want to keep it clean and out of the mud and stuff. So that's its purpose. You're going to get to see right down to the dollars and cents what it costs to bring that thing back to condition, drivable condition. Everything works. Everything's maintained. It's ready to go down the road with confidence. And you're going to get a chance to put a price tag to that. And I think we're going to have a prize for the winner that comes within a certain dollar amount. And you're all going to be shocked and awed at how much it costs to create something from nothing. Something from nothing is what I'm talking about. I did a podcast, and I leave you with this just a couple of weeks ago. The cost of buying a brand new Jeep today. I went in to get some parts. The guy couldn't help me. That's strike 3. I won't go back there. And I saw the sticker price on a Jeep, and my friend Jen has a new one because I told you the story of hers getting written off like literally 2 minutes from her driveway. Very sad. Someone's poor choice of not stopping at a stop sign and T-boned her. And that cost her money to get into another Jeep. And I looked at the stickers in the window and I went, you got to be kidding me, right? That's $58,000. That's without interest, payments, PDI, shipping, freight, gas, oil, maintenance, because you got to maintain it. Yep, got to maintain it. You're going to spend that kind of money. And I broke it all down for you. So if you haven't heard that podcast, you got to listen to that podcast a few times. So that's where we're heading, is to try and help you to change your thinking from regular thinking about your automobile to fleet thinking for personal vehicles. That's going to put a large amount of money back in your wallet. I kid you not. Add on top of that our 30-day fuel savings challenge, which no one has emailed me yet to say, I'm in. I want to try this out. That also will put money back in your wallet. So I guess it depends on how desperate you are to get out of your financial situation, because in Canada, the stats are alarming. It was 74% of the population in Canada is about $200 from going bankrupt. That's really sad. It absolutely is. What has happened to our Canada? Really? What has happened? What have we allowed to happen to our Canada? Because we just don't know what the word no means and do our own homework. That's why I'm here to help you. I'm here not to hurt you. Motormouth's here to help you and teach you what I know about the car biz, because I know a lot about the car biz. And you know what, folks? I'll leave you with this little tidbit. It's just a game. He who knows the rules best plays the best. That's what I'm teaching you. If I can do it, you can do it. I have a 1999, a 2007, a 2003, and they're still very reliable. Oh, and the oldest one is 1984. The first vehicle I bought out of my pocket and financed it that cost me an arm and a leg of interest at 17.93% back in the 80s. And I still have it. How did that happen? It fixes itself. It cares for itself. Fleet maintenance. Make it a great day today, folks. Drive safe. Keep an eye on the other guy. And take your foot off the loud pedal a little bit. And watch how much money you save. Be careful out there. Happy, healthy motoring. And we'll see you tomorrow morning for another Motormouth Morning Drive. Peace, patience, kindness, always. Bye for now.